Imagine creating art worth millions and breaking the law every time you show it. That's how Banksy operates. His works fetch massive sums at auctions, while he himself remains anonymous. And it's precisely that anonymity that has made him a symbol. Banksy turned the art world upside down. He blurred the line between vandalism and high art, transforming urban walls into spaces where topics many would rather avoid are openly addressed. His style comes from graffiti, but it's more than just spray on a wall. It's thoughtful, provocative interventions into subjects like war, capitalism, and the human condition. The artist's unknown identity works in his favor. We focus on the message. Banksy is not a person, it's an idea. To understand the phenomenon, let's go back to the 1990s and Bristol. The city had a unique atmosphere back then, a growing graffiti scene and the trip-hop music of Massive Attack and Portishead. In that raw, dark vibe, Banksy started out with the DBZ crew, painting freehand in a traditional style. But time and the risk of getting caught forced a change, and that's when the stencil appeared. While escaping from the police, he noticed a serial number on a truck, and that's how his trademark was born. Quick, refined stencils. Who is Banksy? The most common claim points to Robin Gunningham. There are also theories about Robert Del Naja from Massive Attack, or even an entire collective. Regardless, one thing is certain: his art always has something to say. Banksy operates like an artistic guerrilla. Irony, satire, simple images. They strike at the system, criticizing war and consumerism. Familiar figures like Mickey Mouse or Ronald McDonald appear in dark, twisted versions. Because with Banksy, nothing is ever just what it seems. Motifs in his work repeat with purpose. Rats, dirty, ignored, yet effective. A symbol of people on the margins who can dismantle the system from within. Monkeys, satire on human stupidity and political absurdities. Police officers and soldiers, shown as human, sometimes lost, sometimes ridiculous, rather than heroic. Children, victims of the system, but also the last symbol of hope. The first major works were created in Bristol, such as The Mild, Mild West, a teddy bear throwing a Molotov cocktail at the police. Innocence in the role of a rebel. Absurdity and contrast became Banksy's trademark. Many important works were created in Bristol. Well Hung Lover shows a naked man hanging from a window, hiding from a betrayed husband. The mural is located on the wall of a sexual health clinic. Banksy always chooses locations to add another layer of meaning. It's also one of the first cases where street art was officially saved by residents who voted not to remove it. Earlier works, like Cat and Dog, depicted cats and dogs in confrontation, a bit like a young artist fighting to survive. Girl with a Pierced Eardrum plays with art history, a classic Vermeer painting, but instead of a pearl, a burglar alarm, a commentary on the obsession with security. Paint Pot Angel is an installation, an angel covered in paint, symbolizing artistic freedom beyond museum frameworks. Newer works, such as Achoo! 2020, an elderly woman sneezing so hard her dentures fly out, combine humor with commentary on the fragility of the human body. Valentine's Day shows a girl shooting a bouquet of flowers from a slingshot, innocent feelings becoming aggressive at the same time. That's Banksy's strength, a simple image that stays in your mind and means more than it seems. In the early 2000s, Banksy moves to London. Here, his art enters the mainstream. Girl with Balloon. A girl reaching out as a heart-shaped balloon drifts away, a simple yet universal image of lost hope. Shop Till You Drop shows a woman falling with a shopping cart. Consumerism as a path to self-destruction. In London, he also creates strongly critical works. One Nation Under CCTV, a slogan next to a camera commenting on mass surveillance. Snorting Copper, a police officer snorting cocaine, deliberately provocative. Slave Labor, a boy sewing flags, showing the real cost of patriotism. Yellow Lines Flower Painter, A worker painting road lines turns them into a flower, a symbol of creativity in a gray system. Banksy doesn't stop in London. In 2013 in New York, he carries out the project Better Out Than In. For a month, new works appear daily in different parts of the city, combining street art, performance, and social experiment. One of the most striking installations is Sirens of the Lambs, a truck filled with squeaking stuffed animals, as if it were heading to a slaughterhouse. Strange, unsettling, impossible to ignore, the subject of the meat industry suddenly appears on the streets. One of Banksy's most brilliant ideas was a simple stall in Central Park, where he sold his original works for $60. No signature, no hype, no cues. Most people just walked past. The experiment showed that the value of art often comes not from the work itself, but from the name behind it. During that month, many other works were also created. The Street is in Play, a child with a spray can next to a no graffiti sign, playing with the law in its purest form. You Complete Me, a dog by a fire hydrant, simple and ironic. Night Vision Horses, violence against animals shown from a cold, dehumanized perspective. Twin Towers Tribute, a subtle homage to the victims of September 11th. Shoeshine, Ronald McDonald having his shoes cleaned, a commentary on corporate power. Ghetto for Life, a butler handing a spray can to a boy, satire on elites buying street culture. Waiting in Vain, a lonely man with flowers outside a club. Banality of Evil, a thrift store painting with a Nazi figure, a reminder that evil can be banal and dangerous. Banksy tests people, the system, and the way we perceive value, morality, and reality. His art also doesn't shy away from politics. In Palestine, since 2005, he has painted on the concrete separation barrier, the world's largest open-air prison. Flower Thrower, a masked man throwing a bouquet instead of a stone, a symbol of peaceful resistance. Flying Balloon Girl, a child lifted above the wall, a desire for freedom. Armored Dove, a dove in a bulletproof vest, showing the fragility of peace. Donkey ID, a donkey being checked by a soldier, a commentary on pointless procedures. Kitten in Gaza, a kitten in the ruins, reminding the world of destruction. We're Not Neutral, a direct appeal to the international community to respond to injustice. The Middle East is not the only place that draws his attention. In 2008, in New Orleans, on the 3rd anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, he creates the NOLA series. Umbrella Girl, a girl under an umbrella, symbolizing the failure of institutional protection. Homeless Lincoln, the emancipator of slaves as a homeless man, bitter irony. Looting Soldiers, exposing abuses by the National Guard. Refrigerator Kite, a child flying a kite made from a refrigerator, symbolizing losses after the disaster. Gray Ghost Villains, a critique of censorship and the destruction of urban art by cleaners. Banksy shows that art can provoke, educate, and change the way we see the world. In 2022, Banksy responds to the war in Ukraine. He confirms 7 works in destroyed cities. In Borodyanka, Judo Match shows a boy throwing an adult resembling Putin, a metaphor for Ukrainian resistance. The Gymnast depicts a gymnast on the ruins of an apartment block, a triumph of spirit over destruction. In Hostomel, Woman with a Gas Mask shows the absurdity of war in everyday life, while in Irpin, Gymnast with a Ribbon reflects national trauma and the process of healing. Missile on a Truck mocks the aggressor using existing graffiti. From Palestine to Ukraine, from Hurricane Katrina to concrete walls, Banksy proves that street art can be a voice where politics and suffering seep into everyday life. His works comment on the world and become tools of resistance. In 2024, he returns to London with the Concrete Jungle Safari series, 9 murals, from a mountain goat in Chelsea to a gorilla at the zoo, exploring the boundaries between freedom and captivity, nature and concrete. The final piece, a gorilla releasing seals and birds, is a clear call for the liberation of all beings from human oppression. In 2025 to 2026, he returns to sharp political critique and introspection. Royal Courts of Justice, a judge striking a protesting citizen with a gavel, criticizing a system that punishes peaceful dissent. I want to be what you saw in me, Marseille, a lighthouse casting light onto a street post, a personal reflection on identity. Stargazing children, children looking at the sky beside a high-rise building. Toxic Mary, double, a reinterpretation of feeding a child toxins, a commentary on social crises, loneliness, and corrupted values. Banksy also takes care of his legacy. Pest Control Office is the only institution that authenticates his works, protecting them from dealers. In 2019, he opens the Gross Domestic Product Shop in Croydon, an ironic manifesto against the commercialization of art, with all proceeds going to rescue migrants in the Mediterranean Sea. He has achieved the seemingly impossible, becoming the most famous artist in the world while remaining anonymous. His murals are not decoration, they are evidence in a trial against contemporary society. From Bristol, through Palestine and Ukraine, to London and Marseille, he consistently defends the most vulnerable, using humor as a weapon against apathy. Street art, in his version, is a constant intervention, a reminder that another world is possible if we stop being passive observers. Banksy shows that a piece of wall and a spray can have more impact than any institutional propaganda. Banksy proves that sometimes all it takes is one spray can, one mural, and the courage to make the world start seeing differently. Subscribe and join our journey through the lives and art of the most fascinating artists.